Hello everybody, welcome to my video. Today we will not have musical analysis. I prepared for you something completely different. I decided to go back in my life to the year 2016, which year I have visited for the first time the beautiful country of Peru in South America. It was my first ever visit in not in South America, but in Latin America, I would say, because before I only visited Brazil. But in Brazil, we don't really put Brazil into Latin America because they don't speak Spanish. So my first ever visit in Latin America, and I want to show you this trip. This was a kind of concert tour, although I only had 3 concerts there. I played in Arequipa, in the monastery of Saint Catherine, Santa Catarina, and I played in 2 venues in Lima, in the capital. Even though it was only 3 concerts, I had plenty of time to visit many fantastic places and to realize my dreams which I had as a little boy. Because maybe you don't know, but when I was very little, I had a dream to be a traveler. I didn't really want to be a pianist, but I wanted to travel the world and discover many fantastic places. And I was reading a lot of books about traveling and trips and adventures. So in this tour in Peru, I had the opportunity to really discover a lot of fantastic places which I am going to share with you. Because I made a lot of photos, unfortunately I didn't make many videos that time, unlike in Norway, for example, when I shared with you my concert tour in Norway just a few months back. But I hope it will be interesting for you, for all of you, to see a little bit different life of concert pianist, because we will not really have a lot of things connected with concerts and music. I haven't recorded this, unfortunately. I was not that smart in 2016. I simply didn't think about it. But I made a lot of photos, and so I will show you the pictures, and I will also explain and tell you stories about everything. And in the background I have a special thing. The music that you will hear in the background is my own music, which I composed, or better say improvised, especially for this occasion, for occasion of this movie, so that we don't have silence when we are watching all these fantastic, beautiful landscapes and pictures. So please enjoy this video. We start from Lima, where I arrived, and immediately I was shocked with the beauty of the city, and especially of the coastline of the city. I call Lima the city of the most beautiful coastline that I have ever seen in my life. So let's see how it looks. I call Lima the city with the most beautiful coastline in the whole world. Of course, I don't know all the cities in the world, but I know quite a lot. And just look at these rocks and this beautiful coastline and this open ocean and the highway and the rocks. Yes, this is really spectacular. Just nearby we have the Park of Love, and here you can see the sculpture of Peruvian artist Victor Delfin El Beso, so the kiss. This is where Peruvian couples in love and also internationals are spending a lot of time. And here we are in the main square in the central Lima. Very beautiful architecture. And now we are flying to Arequipa, to another town where I will have my first concert on this tour. What I had seen from the airplane was really spectacular and so different from what we usually see when we are flying in Europe or other places. Well, maybe Australia looks pretty similar, maybe some parts of United States, but Australia I know, but United States I didn't fly so much. And just have a look, very dry, and here we have the first buildings of the town of the city of Arakiba. The city of Arakiba is quite big because it has more than 1 million inhabitants, and it's a very old city because it was founded in 1540. It is surrounded by many active volcanoes, and it's also active when it comes to earthquakes. And my first traditional Peruvian dish, frankly I don't exactly remember what it was, but it was delicious. And the dessert. Here we have the main square of Arequipa, a very beautiful architecture and many palms and trees and a fountain. Surprisingly beautiful city. Here you can see that during daytime. And one more traditional Peruvian dish. Here we are with my first piano concert, which I had in the city of Arequipa in a very famous monastery of Santa Catarina, St. Catherine Monastery. And the first surprise, the piano. Look at this, it's a Pleyel, very old French piano, which Chopin himself loved. It's the most favorite Chopin's piano, and I have played there a Chopin recital. Just look at this beautiful setting full of paintings. And now I will tell you something about this place. The monastery of Santa Catarina de Siena was built in 1579, and it served as a cloister for Dominican nuns from the 16th to the 18th centuries. It stretches over 20,000 square meters, so it's like a city within the city. And of course, it's in the UNESCO list. And here you can see how magic and inspiring place it was. The concert was sold out. Frankly, they told me that there was more than 200 people waiting and they couldn't come in because they had no space. So my heart was broken. but I couldn't do anything about it, even if I tried to play another concert, but it was impossible. After the concert in Arequipa, I had a few days off, and of course I decided to go somewhere. And the touristic agency, the travel agency in Arequipa, I have found a fantastic trip to Canyon Colca. An incredible place, so please enjoy together with me the trip to Canyon Colca. We will go by bus. These are drops made from coca leaves, and soon we will also see the dried coca leaves, which I have bought because the guide from the travel agency suggested me to do so, to fight with the potential height illness. To reach Colca Canyon, the bus has to pass the Patapampa Pass. The Patapampa Pass, the highest point towards the Colca Canyon. It reaches an altitude of 4,910 meters, almost 5,000 meters by bus. So, of course, it is possible to feel worse. That's why the coca leaves are helping, because they made the blood a little more thin, and that's why it helps with the circulation. Here you can see the path, great volcanoes, a very special landscape, something that I have never seen in my life before. Steps and just no life. Look how dry it is. On our way, we managed to find a herd of alpacas, and they were so nice that I could even make a selfie with one of them. Very cute, very beautiful animals. These were animals, of course, they were made for tourists, but later in this video we will also see the wild alpacas. This place is very special. This is the last place before Patapampa Pass. Here we can drink the tea from coca leaves, as you can see in this picture, because soon we will pass through Patapampa Pass. These are wild alpacas and vacunas. Here you can see these beautiful animals. We are approaching the Patapampa Pass, nearly 5,000 meters. And now here we are. Thanks God I didn't feel bad. The only moment when I felt the height was when I tried to walk faster. This is the truth, that to walk on 5,000 meters is not an easy thing. After reaching Patapampa Pass, we are going down to the town called Shibai. It's a town in Colca Valley, the capital of Caylloma province in the Arequipa region. It is located about 3,600 meters above the sea level, so it's like 12,000 feet. It's a very, very high situated city, and in this city we were sleeping over, and the next morning very early we are going to Canyon Colca, to Cruz del Condor, to see flying condors. And here I am in Shibai, the main market square, and a very beautiful church which I managed to go inside So just have a look. I was also lucky to experience a very stunning sunset. While we are heading towards Colca Canyon, I will tell you a few words about this special place. It's one of the deepest canyons in the world, but nobody knew about it until 1981, when, and this is very interesting, the Polish, so from my country, Canoans rafting expedition led by Andrzej Pietowski, the Polish man, made the first descent of the river below Kabanakonde and proclaimed the possibility of its being the world's deepest canyon. And it was also recognized by the Guinness Book of Records in 1984 and a National Geographic article in January 1993. So this Canyon de Colca 2005 expedition verified the altitudes of the river and the surrounding heights via GPS, and indeed it's considered the deepest canyon in the world. We finally reached the canyon, and we were lucky with the weather so that we could also see flying condors. Spectacular view of flying huge birds, and so majestic, so beautiful. You will see soon. Now just enjoy the beauty of Canyon Colca. And now coming back to Lima to play 2 more concerts and then off to Cusco, probably the most famous Peruvian town. My first concert in Lima was at the Uni, which is the University of Engineering University. Look at that, for more than 1,000 people. We had full house. And this is the second venue, the cultural center in the center of Lima. Look at this beautiful balcony and this architecture inside the concert hall. And now, after the concert, sorry, unfortunately concerts were not recorded, but now, well, let's go to Cusco. Here you can see already this most famous city in Peru, probably, because this is the starting point to go to famous Machu Picchu. The main square in Cusco, a very, very beautiful place, also high in the mountains. And now a little more Peruvian traditional food. For those of you who are sensitive, please close your eyes and close your ears now. This is the very famous Peruvian traditional dish, cuy. What is cuy? My friends, cuy is a guinea pig, and it's a delicacy in Peru, traditionally from Incas, because Incas were eating these animals a lot. Well, I tried 2 times and not more in my life, but I had to try if I were in Peru. Now we are in one of the oldest discoveries in Peru from Incas, and we can see how they were building their cities and towns. This is nearby Cusco, a spectacular place. But a more spectacular place is just in front of us, because now we are going to Machu Picchu. This blue train, very old, brings us to the little town just close to Machu Picchu, from where we have to take buses. And look at this view from the bus reaching to the top of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu, 15th century Inca citadel built in the mountains. I have to tell you, of course, I knew this place from pictures, from videos, from books, but I must admit, when I saw this in my own eyes, they were full of tears. I had tears in my eyes when I saw this place and when I felt the energy of this place. It's spectacular, and it's definitely worth to visit and see in real life. The way they were building their buildings in these steep hills, and how they managed to have vegetables there and all the farming in the 15th century, it's simply unbelievable. Here you can see destroyed walls in Machu Picchu. They were destroyed, of course, because of the earthquakes, especially the earthquake in, I think it was 1980s. In the 1980s, it was quite a big earthquake in Machu Picchu, and well, it survived, but as you can see, it was destroyed a little. The next morning, very early in the morning, around 3 o'clock, I woke up to go to see another very famous touristic point in Peru, the Rainbow Mountain. It was quite recent, so it was not so popular yet that time, back in 2016. But to reach this mountain, first we had to go by bus about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours from Cusco, and then we had to walk a few hours up to 5,200 meters. Yes, my friends, I hiked all the way 5,200 meters. These horses that you can see here are for those of tourists who don't dare to climb so far and so high. But of course, I love mountains, so I refused to use the horse, and I enjoyed Very difficult, but a very beautiful hike. As you can see here, I'm enjoying. But even horses didn't make it to 5,200 meters. They made it to about 4,500 more or less. Look at this! At 5,000 meters above the sea level, we can see the wild herd of alpacas. They really live there, so high. They are not afraid of people, but it's not easy to approach them because they keep you on the safe distance. So we are approaching the top of the Rainbow Mountain, and the weather got a little worse. And as you can see, there is quite a lot of snow. We are almost 5,000 meters, so that's pretty high. And finally here you can see the famous Rainbow Mountain of 7 colors. Without any Photoshop, these are just pictures made from my phone, and even this phone was not that good. As you can see, the weather was not perfect, but still we could see these colors. It looked spectacular, I must say. And of course, 5,200 meters is very high, so our guide didn't let us stay for more than 20 minutes up there. But look how beautiful. Now the question, why this mountain is so colorful? According to the Cultural Landscape Office of the Decentralization of the City of Cusco, the 7 colors of the mountain are due to its mineralogical composition. So we have pink due to red clay and mud and sand. We have the whitish color due to quartzose, sandstone and marls, and rich in calcium carbonate. The red is due to clay stones, and the green is due to phthalates and magnesium. Earthy brown is a product of conglomerate composed of rock with magnesium. So as you can see, there is quite a lot. And the yellow is from calcareous sandstones rich in sulfurous minerals. Of course, I was not prepared being on a concert tour for this trip, so it's a shame that I had to use these shoes. But look how they looked after. Well, they worked anyway, and I was safe, but it was quite difficult. This was a dream from my childhood, to visit the Amazon forest, and I managed to find 2 days, 1 night and 2 days to go to Iquitos, a town inside the Amazon, and we will have a lot of adventures also there, so please enjoy. As I told you, going to Amazon rainforest was so exciting for me, because it was one of my childhood dreams. I always wanted to see Amazon River, and look, I can see that now from up there, from the airplane. We can see the rainforest, and we can see the Amazon River. I was reading a lot of travel books and adventurous books when I was young, and I imagined myself being there and traveling through rainforest in Amazon jungle. And here I am in the city of Iquitos. Now we are approaching. And another interesting thing, can you imagine that Iquitos is the largest city in the world that cannot be reached by road? It is accessible only by river and air. And because of that, we don't have many cars. These motorbikes that you can see here are the main transportation service that we can have. And how does it look to go by something like that? Just look. Even though I only had 2 days and 1 night in Iquitos, I had to go on a trip inside the rainforest and going through the Amazon River. And this was really fantastic. I've also managed to visit the Amazonian tribe, and they danced for us the traditional dance and were singing a traditional song. And then I came to the place where it was possible to see, experience, and even get closer to the real wildlife of Amazon jungle. Beautiful plants, trees, and also many animals. Also the naughty ones, as these ones. Just look at how smart they are and how they will attack soon the man who is going with the food. Oh my god. And do you know this guy? It's a sloth. At first, he was a little reserved, but when I started to touch him, then he soon hugged me with his arms open. And this dangerous animal called anaconda, a few meters long, also was mine. And he even enjoyed me on being with on my arms. And this is, of course, a toucan, one of my favorite birds. We had a nice conversation. He told me that he's very happy in this Peruvian rainforest jungle. No i na koniec, proszę Państwa. And of course, if we are in rainforests, then every day it rains cats and dogs. And this is also a very special feeling to be inside this tropical rain. And in the end, I managed also to go further inside the tropical forest to see and experience how it really looks. Of course, it's still changed a little bit by the human being, but now this place where I am here now was not so much changed. And this was very beautiful. And the last experience, coming back by a local bus. I recommend this to everybody. Then coming back to Lima, and the next day going back home.